Welcome to the Embodied Resilience podcast, where we explore the intersection of trauma-informed yoga, emotional and mental health, nervous system regulation, and the ancient wisdom of Chinese meridians. I'm Liz, a trauma-specialized yoga educator and space holder. In each episode, we will dive into practices, stories, and conversations that help you to return to your body, navigate life with more awareness, and support others with integrity and depth. Whether you're a yoga teacher, a student, or seeker, this space is for you. Hello, and welcome to this new episode on Can you hold space for yourself and others? The skill most courses don't teach. There is something I have been observing for a long time in the Yin Yoga education space, and I wish to share this with you today. Most Yin Yoga courses teach you the basics: poses, sequencing, meridians, and hopefully some anatomy and philosophy. They give you a structure to work with, help you understand what is happening on a physical level in the body. They give you something to rely on when you begin teaching. But at some point, many teachers step out of that training and into a real class with real people, and things get, pretty real. They might know in these cases what to do, but they are not always sure how to be. And that gap can feel surprisingly uncomfortable. Because Yin Yoga, more than many other yoga styles, has a way of bringing people into contact with themselves in a very direct way. Not just physically, but emotionally, energetically, and on a nervous system level. And when that happens in a class, the dynamic shifts. A room that felt calm a moment ago can suddenly feel heavier. Silence can feel more present. Someone might start to fidget, withdraw, or become emotional. And in those moments, teaching is no longer just about guiding shapes or keeping time. It becomes about presence and attunement, about knowing how to stay with what is happening without rushing to change it, fix it, or move past it. And this is the part most trainings don't really prepare teachers for, because it's not something you can memorize or replicate from a script. It's something that develops through experience, through awareness, through understanding your own nervous system first. Recognizing what happens in you when something uncomfortable arises. Noticing your own impulse to fill the silence, to explain more, to distract, or to move on too fast. And over the years, I have seen so many teachers struggle here quietly. Also, most questions that come up in my regular graduate mentoring calls are also around this topic when we are fine-tuning these skills together. Questions about what to do when someone becomes emotional in a class, how to respond when a student feels overwhelmed, how to hold space without feeling drained afterwards. So what happens when teachers are unprepared is that they try to manage what's unfolding in the room. They talk more to fill the silence. They try to guide people out of their experience even when nothing is actually wrong. Or they withdraw because they are not sure how to respond. And over time, teaching can start to feel heavy, draining, or even a little bit intimidating. Because holding space from a place of uncertainty or from your own dysregulated nervous system requires a lot of effort. And this is where something important needs to be acknowledged. If we don't understand what is happening in the nervous system, both in ourselves and in our students, we can unintentionally guide people into experiences that feel overwhelming rather than supportive. Especially in a practice like yin yoga, where stillness can bring things to the surface quite quickly. This is why I don't see trauma awareness as something optional anymore in this space. Not as an additional module that sits on the side of a training, but as something that is woven into how we teach, how we speak, and how we relate to the people in the room. It's about understanding how the nervous system responds to stillness, to sensation, to introspection. Recognizing that slowing down does not feel the same way for everyone. For some, it can feel supportive. For others, it can feel unfamiliar or even threatening. And learning how to guide people through that experience without pushing, fixing, or overriding what is happening. This is the layer that I felt was missing when I was moving through my own path as a student and as a teacher. And it's the reason why I developed my signature approach, the meridian emotion nervous system yoga method, to make sense of what is happening beneath the surface of the practice, and to understand how emotional patterns can show up in class, how the nervous system is constantly assessing safety, and how we can work with that rather than unknowingly working against it. Because once you begin to see this, the practice changes. As a practitioner, it becomes much more personal. You stop trying to make the pose look a certain way or feel a certain way. Instead, you start to notice how you are meeting yourself in the experience. Where you might be bracing, pushing, disconnecting, and how you begin to respond differently in those moments. And if you are a yoga teacher, your role shifts as well. You move from guiding shapes to holding space. And that's a very different kind of responsibility. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being able to stay present when something real is happening. To create an environment where people feel safe enough to explore without being pushed beyond what they are ready for. And that kind of teaching doesn't come from more information. It comes from experience, reflection, and being supported as you learn. If you are curious about this, I always suggest starting in your own body first, because this work makes much more sense when it is felt rather than just understood intellectually. That's exactly why I created the Yin Reset, which is a simple, free, accessible way to begin experiencing this approach to Yin Yoga, where you can notice how your nervous system responds when there is more space, more choice, and more awareness in the practice. And eventually, if you feel ready to go deeper into this layer, my Yin immersion experience is where we begin to explore it together in a more structured way. This is also a free event. Some people join because they want to teach. Others come because they want to understand themselves more deeply. Whatever is your reason, you are welcome to join this free experience. I'm going to share the links to these free resources in the description. Thank you so much for listening, and I hear you in the next one. If today's episode resonated with you, and you feel called to explore this work more deeply, here are a few gentle steps that you can take. You can download my free ebook, Meridians, Emotions, and Yin Yoga, which is a nice entry point into this topic. You can try the free emotional and nervous system Yin Reset, designed for you to experience how my integrated signature approach, the Meridian Emotion Nervous System Yoga Method, works in practice. You can also watch my free trauma awareness webinar called Trauma Informed Yoga Foundations. You are invited to join my next live 100-hour trauma-informed yin yoga and Chinese meridians teacher training in Thailand, or my 30-hour The Art of Trauma-Informed Space Holding course, also held in Thailand. Upcoming dates and details and links will be shared in the description. If traveling is not an option for you right now, or you are planning to complete my teacher trainings while I'm on my maternity break, you can also join my online self-paced 100-hour trauma-informed yin yoga and Chinese meridians teacher training, or join the waitlist of the online self-paced 30-hour The Art of Trauma-Informed Space Holding course. The details and links of all these offerings are going to be shared in the description of this podcast. Thank you so much for being part of this community.